Well, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for John Campea's Open Mic, the show where all we do is really let you dictate what it is we're going to sit here and talk about. Now, you can get a question or a comment for us to address by sending it in one of two ways. The first way you can send one in is if you're watching this show anytime 24/7, like when it's not live, you can send in a question by going to our tip link at streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Again, you got a thought or a question at 2 o'clock in the morning, send it on in there. Or if you are watching live and you want to send in a question, go ahead and use the super chat feature and send it in that way. The super chats are currently open. We do turn them off at some point here. So if you have a thought, theory, question, opinion you want us to address, and if we consider it okay to be used on the show, we'll address that and go ahead and fire that in now. All right. Now, before we get to the questions that you guys have been sending in those two different ways, thought we'd take a second and talk about this because we did a video earlier this morning about Little Mermaid. Became the 5th highest opening Memorial Day weekend film in history. Made about around a little over, with the adjusted numbers coming in, it made a little bit over $118 million for the Memorial Day week. And remember, that includes an extra day for the holiday. But still, number 5 all time. Pretty darn good start for Little Mermaid. Now, that has spawned a lot of debate. I've seen some people asking me, it's like, okay, well, is it going to get to $1 billion or won't? First of all, it is really ridiculous that these days a lot of people will associate you got to get to $1 billion to be successful, and that's nonsense. I mean, there's a lot of room between breaking even and $1 billion for your film to be successful. So a film does not need to get to $1 billion. But still, the question's been brought up. Can this movie get to $1 billion? Well, look. If you've been following the channel for this last week, I saw Little Mermaid, and again, I am not a Little Mermaid guy, but I really enjoyed this film. It's not the best live action remake they've done. I've got a couple of nitpicks with it, but overall, it was really charming. It's fun. The music is great. It's an entertaining, fun little film. Last I checked, and Ray, you can double check this for me. Last I checked, the movie had a 95% audience rating. And it also had like around a 70% critic rating, but I think it was like a 95% audience rating. So clearly, at minimum, the audiences are enjoying it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's their favorite movie ever or they think it's one of the greatest things ever, but at least 9.5 people out of 10 people who go see Little Mermaid are saying they enjoy it. And that's a good thing. What do we got that audience rating?
Still.
It's still at 95%. Mm-hmm. All right. So there you go, doing well. And it had a good opening weekend. $118 million Memorial, 5th greatest of all time. Great. But can this movie join the $1 billion club? No, I really don't think it can. I mean, look, little asterisks here. It's possible. Of course it's possible. Remember, Little Mermaid made more money opening weekend than Aladdin did. And Aladdin did go on to join the $1 billion club. Okay, great. So yes, it's possible. It's possible. But do I think it actually will? No, I don't. For a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I think Aladdin was the better film. I mean, Ray, can you look up the Aladdin audience rating for me? Because I think the Aladdin audience rating is either in the high 80s or 90s as well. I can't remember. But I thought that was just a little bit more
94.
of a... What's that?
94%.
So Aladdin has a 94% audience rating. But I think it's a little bit more of a kinetic film. I think there's more rewatchability to it and all that kind of stuff. So that's one reason, because Little Mermaid's good. I enjoyed it. But I'm not going to go back to watch it 2 or 3 times the way I went back to watch Aladdin 2 and 3 times. Well, if I'm being honest, I probably went to go see it 4 times. At any rate. So that's reason number one. The other reason I don't see it hitting $1 billion is it has got some ridiculously steep competition right away. Because this week, a little film called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is opening. Now, the biggest problem for Little Mermaid isn't just that a big film like Across the Spider-Verse is opening. The big problem for Little Mermaid, and we kind of touched on this on the podcast earlier today. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed to the John Campea Show podcast, go on to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app of choice, and make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Look at all those stars on there. That's fantastic. All right. But the fact of the matter is that it's the worst kind of movie for Little Mermaid to run against, because it's a movie that's specifically going after the same demographic. Like we talked about on the podcast, that if this coming week, Little Mermaid was going to run into Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon or hell, even Dune 2. Yeah, those movies are going to make a lot of money, but they're appealing to a different audience, right? Whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, they're going after the same families that are going to the movie theaters next weekend that Little Mermaid is trying to appeal to. And for Little Mermaid, that's going to be problematic. I think you're going to see, I don't think you're going to see a Fast and the Furious 65% drop on its second weekend, but you're going to see more than a 50. Like, it's not going to be one of these great second weekends that has like a 52, 51, 50% drop. It's going to be in the high 50s probably, and maybe more. Because again, it's running into a brand new film that is a highly anticipated sequel that is also going after the same families that are going to go see Little Mermaid. So while I think Little Mermaid is a winner of a film, I think it's a really good little entertaining, fun little picture. And it deserves good success, and I think it's already having success and will, when it's all said and done, be a successful run. But a billion-dollar film, I just don't see a path that it has to get there. I often use the sports analogy, the path to victory. I don't see what the path to victory here is. It's got strong competition. It's got competition against things that are going after the exact same demographic. It's not as, while it's a strong film, it's not as strong of a film as some of the others that did get to $1 billion. So while I like this movie very much and I encourage people to go see it, I recommend it definitely. A $1 billion movie, it's not. I don't know, guys. Question is for you. What do you think? Do you think that The Little Mermaid can get to that $1 billion mark? Again, we saw recently another movie make less opening weekend, Aladdin, and yet go on to be a $1 billion film. Maybe you think that's enough. Whatever you guys think, jump down into our comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down out of the way, let's get to the whole reason we're here, which is to take your live comments and questions, hear what you guys want to talk about. Let's start with the tip questions that we have. Jonathan, what do we got?
Okay, we got Full Boil, who tipped $20.
Oh, thank you, Full Boil. Appreciate that, man.
He says, or she, I'm not sure. Hi, John. I've been using a 9-year-old entry-level DSLR as my all-purpose camera for amateur photography. With today's tech, do you think it could be worth getting a new one, such as a mirrorless? I'll admit, I'm not familiar with that type. Thanks.
I think the biggest problem you're going to bump up against using like a 9-year-old camera, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess it's probably a Canon or something like that, is that they have these really irritating, frustrating 20-minute time limits. Now, look, if you're primarily using your camera for photography, your camera, which again, it's hard to say not knowing the exact one that you have, it could be very well perfectly good for your uses and what you're using it for. Keep it, go nuts. I mean, unless you really have a need to upgrade it. However, if you're using it for a lot of video, then it may be good to look in some of the new cameras. Actually, I think the model number is the Sony ZV-E1. Just came out. It is a full frame Sony camera that a lot of the tech bloggers are calling too good for the price point. Cause I think you can get it like a camera like that. They're selling for like $3,500, $4,000, but this new Sony ZV-E1 is going for like $2,000. And depending on what camera you had before, you might have lenses that you can switch over to a newer, more advanced camera now. So again, it all depends on your use case. If you're using it mostly for photography, if it's working for you, stick with it. If you want to get more into video, it might serve you well to look at a new camera because they have gotten so bloody good and the prices have come down a lot. So you might want to check them out. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Audie. Ash tipped $5 here. Guardians of the Galaxy, spoiler warning. Thought on MCU's future. We did not see the High Evolutionary die, though it is presumed. So could Marvel use Chukwudi Iwuji as their replacement of Kang? Could they make High Evolutionary a Kang variant, basically? CI was brilliant. Chukwudi was brilliant.
No, you don't just wing it like that. If to me, the actors are always there to serve the characters. The characters do not serve the actors. All right. And let's say you're Disney and you're keeping an eye on the Jonathan Majors legal situation. And if it doesn't look like it's going well and you decide you need to make a change in the casting, then just change the casting. Just Just get a new actor. You don't suddenly pull a Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and go, oh, I don't know, Palpatine's her grandfather. Yeah. Like when that was clearly never the plan. You don't suddenly just start to wing it and throw a lot of spaghetti against the wall. Just do the most common sense thing. Just go out and get a new actor to play the role. Don't change your story. Don't make up shit that was clearly a never part of your plan in the first place. Just, there are many great actors out there. Just go out there and get another actor to step in and fill the role. And by the way, we don't know that things are going to go badly in the Jonathan Majors legal situation. Granted, things don't look great right now, but listen, this could all get cleared up tomorrow for all we know. So maybe Jonathan Majors stays in the role. We don't know. I'm just saying, like, if theoretically speaking, the legal situation goes badly and Disney says, okay, we need to change things up here, just cast a new actor. They did it in the Thor movies, right? Who is Zach Levi?
Yeah.
Played the character, then didn't play the character, then played the character again, and they swapped that out. I mean, you just change actors. You don't change your story for it. All right, what's next?
All right. We've got Audie Ash's back here. On Friday's show, you mentioned missing the old TMNT. Wanted to bring to your attention The Last Ronin. It's written by an original creator and is a storyline created at the very beginning and just recently was published. I think you'll love it.
Audie, somebody else wrote in, I think it was late last week, to also let us know. I did not know about The Last Ronin. And Jonathan brought up some images of it. And I looked at it and went, sold. I am in. Because the images that Jonathan showed me was like, that looks like it's completely in the spirit of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, which were 1,000 times better than the crap you get today.
Boo-hoo!
Ray does not like it when I say that. But I mean, and the fact that it's written by the original author and the original creator, to me, that is just a guaranteed home run. So I have not had a chance to check it out myself. Again, that was just a few days ago, but I am definitely interested and I'm definitely going to give it a read. All right, what's next?
Okay, moving over to Supers here. Miguel Zayan writes, hey everyone, hope all is well. Have any of you guys seen Jeff Bridges' show, The Old Man? Not yet. I'm on episode 6 and it's been great. Underrated adult drama show. It's
one of those shows that I like the look of it and there was just so much that I wasn't keeping up. That's one that I never watched. I never got caught up. And Jonathan Lithgow's in that as well, isn't he? I thought I heard Jonathan Lithgow was in that and that he was really good in it, if I'm remembering correctly. But no, I never did get around to it, but I've never heard anything but good things about it.
Yeah,
that's the key. Like everything I heard about it was always good and positive. So I haven't checked it out yet myself. Maybe sometime during the summer I'll have a chance. We'll have some downtime. Maybe I can get caught up on it. All right, what's next?
Okay. Chef Rigo.
Chef Rigo!
Guys, it was my first time getting liquor at an AMC yesterday, and it was almost $45.
What?
Oh, crap. We're just going to pregame in the parking lot next time. Well, $45 for one drink? It can't be fair.
I highly doubt it was
How
one
many?
drink. So it's hard, Chef Rigo, to put that in context. Like, did you and your crew get drinks? Are we talking about 6 or 7 drinks? Are we talking about 2 drinks? I mean, listen, I'm not a drinker, so I have never ordered a drink at an AMC. So I don't know. Have you, Ray?
Look, sometimes there are special themed movie ones. Like there was one for Mortal Kombat that me and Ann had, I think, and they had one for Creed. Sometimes that jacks up the price a little bit. And if there was a special cup too, I don't know. But $45 is really extreme for one drink, if that is one drink.
But I doubt that was one drink. Like, are we talking 5 drinks?
So
are we
bought the
talking
whole
2
bottle.
drinks?
He said 2, but even at 2, then that means it's like $18 a drink plus tip. I don't know.
Yeah,
then
makes
the question
sense
was,
then, I think.
But listen, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. This is one of the reasons I don't drink. I mean, seriously, I know buddies of mine who are not even heavy drinkers. But I remember they sat down one time and actually did some calculating between the cases of beer they buy to have at home, and then when they go to the bars, having 1 or 2 drinks, or when they go to the club and they buy Ann and I go to Vegas a lot, and we'll go. I cannot believe what people pay for drinks out there. Like you have no other expenses in your life, and like they figure they probably spend like north of $200 every month just on alcohol, and they're light drinkers. I mean, we've got a friend whose name starts with the letter T. I can't even begin to imagine how much that dude drops in alcohol every month.
I think he's made of it now.
It's enough. It's enough to buy a new electric car.
He's cured.
People spend money. Like we can look at it, other people and be like, you're spending that on stupid stuff, and they could say the same thing about me. As long as you're responsible with whatever you buy, then have fun.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I mean, that's the thing to me, right? I have other things that
Yeah.
I personally like to spend my money on.
Yeah.
Things that other people may look at me and say, well, that's a dumb thing to spend money. Maybe, but I don't buy hundreds of thousands of dollars in hot toys. I don't buy hundreds of dollars a month in alcohol. There's a lot of damn things I don't spend money on. That's one of the reasons.
The one worst thing I could think of is Chef Rigo went up to that thing and ordered the drinks and thought of a different number, but yet it was too late. He already committed, and he got that thing, and it was like $45. You can't go back. I mean, especially if there's a line, you have to pay that thing and then just take it. Just eat it. Just eat up that money.
Just eat it up.
Just eat it up, bro.
All right, speaking of eating it up, hey guys, we're going to take a second here and thank one of the sponsors of the John Campea channel here, our friends at ExpressVPN. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. Guys, it is 2023, and online privacy and security has never been more important. You see, every device, phones, computers, tablets, has a unique IP address, which is like an internet phone number and reveals personal information about you. It's super simple for somebody online who knows what they're doing to find your IP address if you've ever clicked on a sketchy link or opened an email from somebody you don't know. Your IP address could become exposed. Now that's where ExpressVPN has your back. ExpressVPN is an app that hides your real IP address and replaces it with a dummy one, keeping you safe and private. And you don't have to be some kind of techie to use a VPN. Guys, it is so easy to use. Just download the ExpressVPN app on your phone or computer, tap one button to turn it on, and you're protected. And if you like your streaming entertainment, here's the coolest part. They let you choose what country you want your IP address to look like it's coming from. This is incredibly useful because services like Netflix and Disney Plus give you different shows depending on what country you're in. So secure your family's online activity and unlock tons of new shows by visiting expressvpn.com/Campea. Use my link and you can get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Campea. Go to expressvpn.com/Campea to learn more. And thank you to our friends at ExpressVPN for sponsoring the John Campea Show channel. You know what? Sorry. I'm going to stand this just for a second, thinking more about the how much it costs to be a drinker. And this isn't one of the reasons. Look, the main reason I don't drink, is I just don't like the taste of alcohol.
Yeah.
I find the taste of alcohol repulsive, but that's just me. But the fact that it's so expensive, and I see, but that's another one of the things, maybe because I'm so inherently cheap, that has protected me from, I never got into smoking.
Yeah.
Partially because I find the habit terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, I looked at the amount of money that people I knew were constantly dropping on it, or even like recreational drugs. I never got into recreational drugs even as a teenager because I don't have the money for that. I want to buy the new Transformer. I don't have money to buy.
That's why you get loans.
That's
for
why
your drugs.
you get credit cards.
That's why you say, I owe you, and then you move out of the state.
Yeah, you get other people's money for it.
There's always money there for something.
I've been running from my dealer for the longest time.
All right. What's next?
$45, chef.
$45. What's next?
Real quick, Cinema just left a member chat, but because it has to do with what we just said, it was recently announced that the Last Ronin comic is being adapted into a God of War style video game.
Ooh.
That's kind of interesting.
Oh, okay.
That's
See,
dope.
now I really got to read this damn thing. That's
I'm reading
exciting
up
to me.
right on it right now. I guess Michelangelo's the Last Ronin. I thought it was Donatello.
That was Donatello.
Oh,
also.
by the way, one of our channel members, Mark24 Gaming, just gifted a membership. Thank you for that, Mark24. Appreciate that, man.
He's always in there.
All right.
All right. So now we've got Christopher Brickner, who writes, Indiana Jones 5 Cannes premiere backfired. Now it will have a rotten rating for a month on Rotten Tomatoes. With a $300 million budget, will this impact its box office?
Was the budget $300 million?
I'd have to look that up real quick.
I have a hard time believing that it had a budget of, it might very well be. I don't know factually that it's not. I have a hard time believing they actually spent $300 million on that. Yeah, listen, it was a gambit. Debuting it at the Cannes Film Festival. That
$295 million.
$295?
All right.
Yeah, even Wikipedia says it. So.
Well, if Wikipedia
Well, I don't know. Well,
says
Wiki.
it.
I mean, that's the first source that told me.
So
I believe all Wiki.
It was a gambit. It was a roll of the dice because you go to Cannes. Obviously Disney had some faith in the film because you go there, you debut it, and you hope to ride a number of weeks of positive word of mouth and all that kind of stuff rolling into it. They clearly were expecting a better reaction. Right? And I'm not going to crap talk the movie because maybe I'll love it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But you're right. It was a risk, but whenever you take a risk, that's why the word is called risk. It's not a guarantee. It's a risk. They took a risk and it didn't work out. And you're right. Now they're going to have to ride weeks of negative conversation going into its debut, and that's going to hurt it. It is absolutely going to hurt it. You know, you get all these people out there, whenever it suits them, say, nobody cares about critics, and no, critics aren't. Yes, it absolutely fucking does. And you're going to see a Indiana Jones debut to maybe good numbers, but it would have been a lot better if this Gambit had paid off and the critics loved it and stuff like that. About half. Listen, it's not like the critics hate it. Half the critics like it, half don't, but that's not what they were looking for.
I mean, for Movie Club, I've only seen one Indiana Jones, and that's the first one, and I really liked it.
How have you not watched?
It's just not my genre. I'm just telling you, like, in the
What
past.
exactly is your genre?
Yeah, like,
Fred?
My
almost
genre
everything
is
is not your-
natural disasters and
One Punch Man.
documentaries. And documentaries about anything but abuse, you know, like stuff like that. They came out with some Indiana Jones action figures recently, and they have one from the first movie. I'm about to get that one.
As long as it's
That's
got-
all my segue was for, just to introduce these action figures.
Gotta get
or
these
talk about
toys.
these action figures.
All right, what's next?
Okay, up next, we've got a two-parter from Sam Fisher. Fantastic Four rumors have the cast as Adam Driver as Reed, Margot Robbie as Sue, Paul Mescal as Johnny, Daveed Diggs as Ben. I don't know how believable the rumors are, but if these are right, I'm 1,000% in.
Yeah, but you know how many rumors there have been about Fantastic Four casting and how many times it's changed? At this point, I am in the I'll believe it when they announce it. Like, I believe the movie's been cast. I do believe that. I don't buy any of the rumors or whatever because there have been 100% rumors 7 different times now. That means they're all wrong. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I opened up my YouTube like this weekend, and all the videos were about this cast, possible cast. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Chris Parker who writes, while mostly positive, the negative comments I've seen of The Flash seem to relate to a muddled, incoherent second half. Without spoilers, do you agree with those criticisms?
No, I do not. Listen, there are things to criticize about the movie. There are. It's not perfect. I love it. I think it's fantastic, but it's not perfect. And there are definitely some legitimate things. But amongst the things, the weaknesses, and there are some weaknesses in the second half, muddled and confusing is not one of them. It's, if anything, you could almost criticize it for being a little straightforward. Like, muddled and confusing? No. Again, if anything, I could see more legitimacy to the criticism that maybe the second half might be a little unimaginative and a little straight linearly, but did you have any problem understanding what was going on?
Maybe there was one part where I thought it was busy, but not busy in a bad way. It was just like, can you slow things down? Haha, Flash.
Can you slow things down?
Look. There's problems with the movie. I found a couple of them, and maybe people who pay attention more will find a bunch of them. But after I left the movie, none of them affected me where I said I didn't like that movie. It's my favorite DC movie of all time. It's a really fun movie. Like I really liked the take on The Flash.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we've got Chris Parker's back. Jurassic Park turns 30 next month.
Wow.
Then how old does that make me? 30. Psh.
That's Universal, right? Jurassic?
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you rank it along A New Hope, Phantom Menace, T2, Avatar, etc., in terms of films that advance the art, special effects? Which has had the greatest impact? I mean, that is a pinnacle one.
Okay, so T2 was great, but it had like 1 or 2 techniques it innovated, right? It was like 1 or 2 things. The original Star Wars A New Hope, it completely changed everything. If you go back and watch Light and Magic, the documentary about Lucasfilm, or about Industrial Light and Magic, they bring in all these big producers and they talk about it. Like, that movie changed everything from what was possible to put on screen. I think the next film that falls under that category is Jurassic Park. That's the next one.
That scene, it's incredible. That
No,
scene
the whole
was-
movie. Like
The
people
whole
couldn't
movie.
believe those
But-
dinosaurs weren't real.
Yeah,
you know?
I
I don't even know what you see. I don't even know what you mean by you see that.
where they pan out and they show the brontosaurus.
Oh, and Dr. Grant,
Yeah.
he gets up in the thing and he grabs his glasses. And
Oh.
that's like one of the great scenes ever.
Oh my God, there's only one. That's the only scene where if it's on TV, I'm mad if it passed that part. I got to see that part every time it's on. So
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, it was a wonderful mix of practical and digital. Now, so you had A New Hope, and then the next one that completely changed the game, was Jurassic Park. And then Jurassic Park inspired George Lucas to go, now the technology's at the place so I can do my next one. Phantom Menace, like or hate the Phantom Menace as a movie.
Yeah.
I lean towards the hate part.
Oh,
Like or hate the Phantom Menace, that again completely changed the game when it came to visual effects.
Avatar 2.
Nothing had ever come close to what, like, all the various things and techniques that were innovated in use of the, like, you say Matrix. Matrix did one thing. It was bullet time. That was the one thing they really innovated. T2, it was the melting metal. That was really the one technique. But in the Phantom Menace, you go through the like 7 hours of DVD bonus features, and it's just innovation after innovation after innovation after innovation. It was absolutely crazy. And it was one of the biggest turning points, I think, in visual effects history. After that, I guess the next thing is Avatar, but
Yeah.
Avatar was more of a perfection of the things that was already being done. But yeah, I'd say those three are the biggest things ever. I mean, as long as we're not going all the way back to like Jason and the Argonauts, going like all the way back. But I mean, yeah, New Hope, Jurassic Park, Phantom Menace. All right, what's next?
Okay, we've got Raymond Verrata, who writes, Will Ferrell is playing John Madden in the biopic Madden, directed by David O. Russell. A larger-than-life man played by a larger-than-life actor.
Yeah, I read that just a little after lunch. That's something we're going to have to cover that on the channel a little bit more tomorrow, because a lot of people remember, or forget, I mean, the HBO series Winning Time,
Oh yeah.
in which John C. Reilly brilliantly plays Dr. Jerry Buss. That was supposed to be Will Ferrell's role.
Oh.
And I forget the name of the director. I feel stupid, but he was a creative partner of Will Ferrell for a long time. And the fact that he went with John C. Reilly instead ended a decades-long working relationship between Will Ferrell and that director. So what does Will Ferrell do? He pivots to doing another sports legendary icon in Madden with an Academy-level director in David O. Russell.
Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, thank you. I mean, it ruined their relationship that he didn't get that. So now he's going to be Madden. I think that sounds great. And if it's anywhere near as good as Winning Time, we're in for something special.
Yeah, it is.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we've got Chris Parker, who writes, I'm excited for The Flash, mostly to see Keaton back as Batman. I saw Batman when I was 9, and it was my first memory of how a movie could become an event.
Yeah.
That Bat logo was everywhere you looked. Yeah, McDonald's, you name it.
It completely dominated the pop cultural conversation.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. Every fast food chain, every clothing store, everything had the frickin' bat symbol on it. Like it just, and again, personal note, some of you guys who are regular viewers of mine, you know this already, but it's my most cherished memory I have of me and my best friend growing up. And we took the bus downtown to go see Batman. And it was the first time ever that I saw a legitimate lineup at the movie. I'm not talking 20 people. I'm talking hundreds of people deep. And it was the first time I ever saw that. And it was one of my most cherished memories. And, when he passed away a couple of years ago, it just made that movie even more special to me. And listen, let me tell you right now, if you're going into this movie to really see Michael Keaton, you are going home happy. Because Michael Keaton is awesome in this movie.
You could see how he missed this character.
Yeah.
He missed it, and he plays as he gets nuts. You want to get nuts?
Let's
he
get
went
nuts.
with this
Let's
character.
get these nuts.
So
Let's get D's nuts.
let me just add something real quick. We found an old home video a long time ago. I think it was 1980
I know the video you're talking about.
And this is how big Batman was. You see my mom with my aunt rolling lumpia. If any Filipinos listening,
My
it was
favorite
lumpia.
Filipino
They're-
food.
They're prepping them, and my mom is wearing this bright Batman logo on her shirt.
Yep.
Because of those movies.
Yeah,
So it's every-
that movie.
every kid in like middle school, high school had the Bat logo shirt. You know, it was crazy.
And Michael Keaton's great in this movie. You're going to be very, very happy. All right, what's next?
Chris Parker is back. Momoa is down here in New Zealand filming God of War, and I just read he's staying on to film Minecraft. With it being the biggest selling game of all time, how do you rank its chances of rivaling Mario's success?
Wait, is Jason Momoa in the God of War movie?
What? I thought
Or in the God of War
News
series,
to
I
me.
mean?
you might. Well, let's see.
Okay, like,
We totally missed that if we.
I mean, is that something that dropped while we were at CinemaCon and we weren't paying attention to anything other than what was going on at CinemaCon? Or is that just some rumor? Anyway, what is the question? Does what have the chance of Minecraft?
Will the Minecraft movie be big? Could it be as big as Mario Brothers?
Any movie could be as big as the Mario Brothers. The question is, will it be? But look, the difference between Minecraft and Mario is that Mario is always on, right? Like to this day, you go to the What's Hot list over on the Nintendo Switch store, and Mario Kart is still one of the top selling things. I still play Mario Kart, for heaven's sake. People still love Mario Kart. People love all the Mario games. It's like Mario, 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 Mario. It's always Mario. Whether they're going Super Smash Brothers or whatever, it's always Mario. Minecraft, not so much. It hasn't been like the hottest thing for a beat. But again, who would have thought that a Lego movie, a movie about square plastic building blocks, could end up being some big success and be really great? So could it? Of course it can. Any movie coming out can.
I can't find anything that
Yeah.
says.
Is
Yeah.
it likely? Is it likely that'll be as big as Mario? No, not likely, but possible. All right, what's next?
Minecraft, he is in. Oh wait, Chief of War. That's different.
Chief of War.
Oh, Chief of War is
Oh my God! You
very,
scared me.
very different from
Yeah,
God of
Chief
War.
of War.
Chief of War is okay.
But he is going to be rumored for Minecraft. That's per IMDb.
Okay, so we don't know. So we don't know that he's in either of them.
Yeah.
So, all right, or not in God of War.
Interesting choice for Minecraft. I
Yeah.
must say.
All right, what's next?
Okay, now we've got Matt Thornton, who writes, one of my favorite animated Netflix shows is Disenchantment. Showrunner Joss Weinstein has confirmed that part 5 is coming, but I wonder why Netflix hasn't confirmed it or said anything at all.
You know what? I was really excited for Disenchanted.
Which one
Was it Disenchantment or
He's saying
Disenchanted?
He's saying Disenchantment, but I'll look
Right,
it
it
up.
might be Disenchantment. I might. It's been a few years since I watched it, but
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't find it that funny. I kind of ditched on it after just a couple of episodes.
I see. Okay, I remember this.
Yeah, if you can pull that image up for people, Jonathan. I mean,
Well, there's the Amy Adams Disenchanted, but
no. This was an animated
Okay,
series that was
okay.
on Netflix with
okay,
like it was
I'll
like
look
kind
it
of set in a fairy tale setting.
I see
So-
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, this is the great example about the subjectivity of entertainment, right? Like some people like yourself watched it and it was really worked and it was really funny.
Okay, yes, now I remember.
I gave it a couple of shots. I watched it a bit and I just didn't find it funny. It didn't work for me, unfortunately. So
Oh no, he's right. It's called The Disenchantment, and it kind of looks like Futurama, Rick and Morty.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're talking- yeah.
made by the same people who do Futurama and Simpsons and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know it was still going.
I'm gonna check it out. To be honest.
Yeah, you should. I mean, like I said, a bunch of people did like it. Like, so I might be in the minority here, and that's fine. But yeah, it didn't really work for me.
You sound bitter when you say that's fine.
That's fine. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Donaldo Martinez who writes, I rewatched Lethal Weapon 4 recently. I must say it was a great Jet Li introduction for Western audiences when it came out. Yeah, he seemed like he was unstoppable in that movie.
Yeah, that unpopular opinion, that's my favorite Lethal Weapon movie. Lethal Weapon 4 is my favorite one. Now, it's kind of ridiculous to think that Mel Gibson and Danny Glover could take on Jet Li.
Especially at that age.
Yes, especially at that age. But I like near the end, they're standing there like, you got Mel and Danny over here, you got Jet Li over here,
remember that.
and they're talking to each other like, it'd be smart for us to just walk away here. Yep, probably would be. But we're not going to do that, are we? Nope. And then go and they fight him. I love that movie.
The bromance.
I totally love that movie. And you're right. It was really, I mean, what was the one that was kind of his introduction to North American audience? But I think the one that really put him on the map for North American audiences was
Wasn't
probably that one.
not Crouching? No, that's the Hero. Was it Hero?
I think Hero was after. I'm terrible with movie days. I think Hero was after Lethal Weapon 4. At any rate.
Go ahead and go on.
All right, what's next?
Aiden Foley writes, The Founder is such an underrated movie. I completely believe that is Michael Keaton's best performance. Ray Kroc sucks, but the dude is a genius too.
The movie's great.
The movie is great.
I look, I am a sucker for this subgenre of real life story, like true stories based on things that are a part of all of our lives.
Oh, like pinball.
Always, it comes back to pinball for Ray. No, I'm talking about things like The Social Network, right? Like Facebook is a part of all of our lives. Like whether you use it or you don't, it's a part of all of our lives. And to watch a story about its formation or whatever is a really interesting thing. And so movies like that, like The Founder and Michael Keaton was great in it. Some scenes are scenes I still load up every once in a while just to watch. It didn't get watched by a lot of people, but you totally should. By the way, Air, that's one of the reasons why I like Air so much, the new Ben Affleck film. Because like everybody, you either are wearing, like Ray is wearing Nikes right now. Yeah. But everybody knows Air Jordans and certainly knows people that own Air Jordans. And to get the story behind, at least a dramatization of the story behind how they came to be is really fascinating to me.
Was it the Jet Li black mask? That was the one.
That wasn't
before.
big popular. That wasn't super popular.
And then there was like The One and Fearless.
But again, The One I think was after Lethal Weapon 4.
Kiss
Do you
of the
know
Dragon.
that I actually did a little work on The One?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was. I was at least with the company when the company, you guys know I was part of a visual effects company for a while, a small little visual effects company in Canada. And I think the first movie we ever did any work on was Spy Kids 2. That was the first feature film that we did, but I think we did a little bit on The One. Anyway, hey guys, we still got more questions of yours to get to, but we're going to take another quick break here and thank two more sponsors to today's John Campea content, our friends at Rocket Money, and of course, my mobile service provider, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Rocket Money. The average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want and don't even use. Simply find the subscription you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as the click of a button. My wife Ann and I moved out of Burbank 2 years ago, and one of the first things I discovered when I loaded up Rocket Money was that I was still paying for a gym membership I haven't even been to in Burbank in 2 years. So stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. From the gas pump to the grocery store, your utility bills and favorite streaming services, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know that ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been saving almost 70% a month over my old phone plan. For people looking for extra savings this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Rocket Money and Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode. All right, guys, let's get through the rest of the questions you guys have sent in, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up next?
Okay, we've got Chris Parker again. I keep wanting to say Parker.
Parker!
Tarantino's not wrong about streaming movies not being in the zeitgeist. Who gives a second thought to The Gray Man, Tomorrow War, Red Notice, etc.? Film playing at the cinema carries a prestige that can't be replicated.
And they just make bigger impacts.
Yeah.
They make legitimate impacts. Nobody talks about Gray Man anymore. Oh, partially because Gray Man was a bad movie. But, I mean, nobody talks about Gray Man. Nobody talks about Tarantino's 100%. Now, I don't agree with Tarantino. The movies that go to streaming first aren't real movies. I don't agree. I don't go that far. I don't agree with him there. But he's not wrong. The movies that go straight to streaming do not have the same cultural impact. And if you can find the odd exception, because I'm sure there's going to be one or two exceptions, congratulations, you pick out 1 out of 100. Whereas even the most mediocre successes in movie theaters make a lot bigger of a cultural impact than they do. So again, I don't go as far as Tarantino does, but again, he's not wrong. He's right about that. All right, what's next?
Excuse me. Orlando Orego writes, "Hey John, with this weekend's box office, it doesn't seem like Fast X or The Little Mermaid will be profitable at the end. Hopefully, I could be wrong. It will get competitive the next few weeks."
Since when does a movie open to over $100 million and you say doesn't look like it's going to be profitable? When has that ever been true?
Hey.
I get, that's not to say every single case of a movie opening to over $100 million is success. It's not that, but I just don't understand. Like, I already laid out my case why I don't think Little Mermaid is going to be $1 billion film.
Doesn't need it though.
Profitable though? I don't see any reason to doubt that it could be profitable. The movie made over $118 million, the 5th biggest Memorial Day weekend film in the history of the. I just don't know what now. Fast and Furious, I do believe Fast and Furious will cross the $750 million mark to become profitable. Okay, it's already at 500 something million. Granted, it's slowed down a lot and will continue to decrease, but I think it'll get there. And you know what? It's just, that's their own bloody fault for making a movie that cost $340 million to make. Like, what were they thinking? It's just, I don't understand, especially when the last one only made $700 million.
Little Mermaid is going to run through a gauntlet in the next month. But what it has over the things that are coming out, like Spider-Verse, Transformers, Flash, that's a rough set right there you have to go through. It's different from all the three of them.
They're the same, it's a very different film.
Different.
It's a very different film.
Yeah. So
its budget was $200 million. So let's say marketing's 100, and then let's go with your 1/3 calculation. So it'd have to make about $400 million.
$450 million.
To break even.
Yeah.
And it's at 185.8. So why wouldn't I think it definitely.
Yeah. I think it, again, is it guaranteed? No, it's not guaranteed. But I would not use the language that it's doubtful that it'll be profitable when all it's really got to do is get to 450 million. Unlike a Fast and the Furious that needs to get to a 750 million. So, all right, we'll see though. We'll find out. What's next?
Kurt is next. And they write, this past week had a few shows wrap up their final seasons. What do you think makes a good series finale? For me, I like hallmarks of the show, plot lines wrapped, and closure for the characters.
I think, number one, it's got to be an ending that doesn't make you ask yourself why you ever watched the show in the first place. Because I've seen some series finales that do that. It's like, well, why did I even watch this? You know, that sort of thing. Number one is it just has to be a good episode. Forget the fact that it's a finale. It just has to be a good episode, number one. Seinfeld, one of the most celebrated television shows in history, had a horrible series finale. It was not funny. It was not fun. It made no sense. All that kind of stuff. Actually, you know what? The funny thing is a lot of great shows have bad series finales.
You know what could have had a good ending?
What's
The
that?
Office. If they ended it at the end of season 8 when Michael leaves, that would have been a good ending to me.
But you know what? The Office series finale was awesome.
Yeah, that one was awesome too.
It was a really good series finale. And like, yes, The Office lost its way when Michael left, but only because the showrunner said, hey, The Hangover's really popular. Let's make Ed Helms the center of the show. That was the dumb, and I like Ed Helms, don't get me wrong, but that was the dumbest decision they could have made. Now, eventually, The Office, I believe, found its footing again and started being pretty good again.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
It didn't get back to its glory days.
Right.
But the finale, I thought the finale was great.
Was that?
Yeah, because isn't that where he like hands the keys, like the reign over to
Dwight?
Dwight?
Well, no, you find out it fast forwards a little bit in time. Dwight is the manager there now, and it focuses around Dwight's and Angela's wedding. And then Michael comes and shows up to the wedding.
Oh man, that was good.
And then they're all sitting around in the office again afterwards. It's after hours. They're all sitting in the office and talking one last time, and it was a really good ending.
Yeah. I take it back. Yeah, that was a good season finale.
Yeah.
A series finale.
But they did lose their way a bit after Michael left. They totally did. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Alan Gonzalez who writes, I love Severance. Thanks for the recommendation. I still haven't seen it.
I'll tell you what, man. I almost ditched on after the first episode. Like, it was an interesting concept, but I'm like, yeah, it's just all concept, no substance. But then Anne convinced me to keep watching it with her, and I'm really glad I did because I got really hooked on that show.
I've never talked so much about a show after like an episode would air because there's so much mystery behind it. You wanna find out what everyone's take is, and I love shows that bring out that out of me. You know, where I actually have to think a little.
It sounded like Black Eyed Peas there for a second. That, boom, boom, boom. And by the way, speaking of finales, how good was the season finale of Severance? Like ending with that, he's running out of the room. Oh, there's my wife's alive. And then everything goes, oh, such a good season finale.
No, it's okay because like I don't even have a perspective. I don't even know what that means.
No, it's all
so
about the
fine.
journey, man. Don't
about the
worry.
journey.
Yeah, it's all about the journey in that.
All right, what's next?
Okay, John Redcorn wants to know who you got, Heat or Celtics?
Oh, man.
Probably Heat, but I'd like it to be Celtics.
Celtics deserve it. I think they deserve to
Look,
beat the Heat.
Here's the thing. I
I'm a
said
Laker
going into game 6.
Yeah, it's coming from two Lakers fans.
I said going into game 6, if the Heat lose game 6, it's done.
You think they lose the steam?
They're going back to Boston.
They
Boston
lost
has all the
everything in that
momentum.
last game.
They've had their heart ripped out of their chest and had it stomped on.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it.
granted, they came within a fraction of a second of winning game
Block
6 and
that
winning
guy
the series. I mean, they came, granted, but Boston is now going home. They have been fairly, last game was close, but other than that, they've been fairly dominant. And let's remember,
It's a better
Boston-
series. It's a better series.
Boston they were supposed to sweep this series. Miami's the number 8 seed that had to go through a play-in game even to get into the playoffs. So this should have been a sweep for Boston, but I think Boston wins.
But in order for Boston, let's say they go on to face the Nuggets, they needed a series like this, or they would get a rude awakening with the Nuggets.
Oh, I'll tell you right now.
They needed a hard-working series if they get to the finals. It's a better series. Nuggets and Celtics is a better series.
It is probably a better series, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it does
yeah.
not matter who comes out of the
just
East.
give the Nuggets the title.
Nuggets are gonna curb stomp Miami. Nuggets
yeah.
are gonna curb stomp Boston. Neither of there are some teams that do. Philadelphia did with Embiid, but neither of those two teams have an answer for Jokic. None of them have an answer for you. It doesn't even matter if Jamal Murray goes off or not. Good Canadian kid, by the way.
Oh,
It
is
doesn't
he?
even matter if Murray goes off or not. Neither of those teams have the slightest answer for Jokic, and he's going to rip them apart. So I don't know.
It's
We'll
going to
see.
be their
Though.
first championship. That's a special moment. Whether you're
Yeah.
a Denver Nugget fan or not, that's a special moment when a team wins its first title. You hear me, Bengals?
You hear me, Bengals?
You hear
Come
me,
on.
Bengals?
All right, what's next?
Okay, Hartford writes, hi, John and crew. Thanks for all you do. RE Apple's rumored AR VR device. What do you think its impact will be on home entertainment experience?
0. None. I've been told by people for 15 years, VR's it. VR next year, VR's taking over everything. VR's this, VR this. Oh, I bought a couple of VR devices. They're fun, but I've been told like every year for 15 years, VR's a thing, VR's a thing, VR's a thing, VR's a thing. It hasn't made any difference anywhere. And you got a new Apple device coming out. By the way, the rumored price of the new Apple device, because how much was the Oculus Ray again? Like $300 and something dollars?
Yeah, it's actually reasonable.
And I like the Oculus.
$299, $399, whatever your choices. You got choices.
The rumored price of this Apple device is $2,000.
Of course, it's
That's a down
Apple.
payment.
That's
On
a down
anything.
payment on something. I don't think it's going to have any impact. I really don't.
It feels like VR is now the thing that all the big companies are taking a shot at because they want to say they were the ones that got VR. They got VR in today's like as a normal thing. I forgot the word for it. I'm not that smart at vocabulary, but
the next big thing.
or just like a household thing, like every
Right.
household has. Now Apple's taking a shot. I can't believe they're taking a. I almost want to look it up to see if you're lying.
No.
Because something
It's
that
coming. It's going to be announced at WWDC. That's coming up here next month. I'm hoping a Mac Pro is going to be announced out.
Apple's
By
the
the
last
way.
hope. Then I think.
But I mean, like, remember, it kind of reminds me of the smart glasses. Remember, Google had their Google Glass, and Apple was going to try it. That's going to be the big thing. And I don't know. Look, eventually, maybe it will. But I certainly don't think, with all the attempts and sputters, that a brand new device that is almost 10 times the cost of what the other ones are, I don't think that's going to make that big of a. I mean, listen, I have a lot of Apple stuff. I'm wearing an Apple Watch. I got a MacBook right here. I got a Mac Studio Ultra on my desk in there. I have an iPad at home.
You have an Adam's apple. I don't know.
I am not buying this fucking VR device. I am not
Sorry,
dropping
Ray.
$2,000. Like,
Was that
the
one?
Oculus was fun. It's fun, but no, I don't see making any impact.
Did the chat not like that, Joe?
No, I'm just saying. Sorry, you won't be able to use John's VR set.
Oh.
Yeah,
He's not going to buy
Yeah,
it.
you might have to
How
get
am I
one
gonna
yourself
know?
now.
How am I going to have my secret reviews? Secret reviews that John owns by Rayor.
Right. What's next?
All right. Talking Entertainment with Josie writes, the room with a crowd was, you saw the room. The room with a crowd was a lot of fun. Lots of yelling and spoon throwing. Now that's the only way I want to watch. That's the only way I want to watch it now.
Yeah, so in Los Angeles, I don't know if they do this in other cities, but in Los Angeles, they still do fairly regular with a live audience screenings of The Room. And it's become like a rite of passage.
Make that money, Tommy.
I remember our friend, his real name is Chuck Norris. That's his real name. He was also editor on my movie, The Anniversary.
Awesome.
But I remember I'd been in LA for about 2 years, and Chuck Norris, he brought up The Room, and I'm like, what's that? And he goes, you've never heard of The Room. I'm like, no. So you've never been to a live screening? I'm like, dude, I've never even heard of the movie. You can't live in LA without watching The Room. And then he arranged for us to watch The Room. And that was my baptism into the holy faith of Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, man, I want to see Chuck again. Where are you at, Chuck? He brought some meat to like the party.
Yeah,
that we had.
my house. That's
That was so good.
I saw Chuck one time after that. I ran into him at the ArcLight Theater in the restaurant, and we hung out and chatted for a while. But
He's great.
Yeah, the last time I had some legitimate time to sit down with him was at our housewarming party. Yeah, I miss Chuck.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Wired Ape who writes, John and crew, thank you for being you, honest and willing to talk about it. AMC appreciates you.
I don't know that AMC appreciates me one little bit.
Maybe the workers. Maybe.
Oh, hey, listen. Whenever I
Workers
go into
love you,
AMC
bro.
theater, I always have, doesn't matter which AMC theater I go into, I always get somebody at the AMC theater, because remember, I did things at AMC for a long time.
Yeah.
Stop me, and they're always super nice to me and stuff like that. I don't know that the CEO likes me very much.
No, but you
Maybe Wired
point
Ape.
out things.
Maybe
I
Wired Ape
point
is
out
like
things,
an
yes.
employee or something. I don't know.
You know.
All right,
All
what's next?
John Redcorn writes, over under 30%, Thunderbolts and Blade are delayed again. Well,
Damn it,
Blade-
I totally forgot to talk. We're going to have to do this tomorrow. So Thunderbolts got delayed. They've stopped production on it, even though the word was that the script was done and they were all cleared to keep production going. But apparently they stopped production. We'll have to talk about that a little bit more. So lots of delays.
Yeah, Thunderblades.
Writer strike is
Thunderblades.
affecting a lot of stuff. I mean, listen, they just hired for Blade. They had just hired a new writer, and the next day the WGA went on strike. So they don't have a script.
You can tell me any of you are surprised by any of this news.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Especially if they haven't started doing anything on him. A
Yeah.
lot of things are going to get delayed.
All right, what's next?
We've got Mr. Hank Dunn.
Yeah.
I'm not joking when I say this. All right. I hope Gunn puts Scooby-Doo in the DCU.
Oh, God.
Make it a mix between Evil Dead and Breakfast Club, and it could be a banger.
And
I read that seriously.
Everybody would hate him. Like, nobody wants that.
You know, I like Scooby a little bit.
Like, you can have your fun. And you say, well, John, he had Howard the Duck. And yeah, he did as a quick cameo. And I could even see a Scooby-Doo in a background in a quick cameo as a joke, and it's fun because James Gunn has some history with Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that. But actually putting Scooby-Doo in the DCEU, that would be rejected resoundingly by the audience. I would say the nay. All right. What's next?
I was going to bring up an example. Do you remember MasterChef?
Yeah.
The guy Luca, right? He was up against.
Oh yeah, I love Luca.
Remember, he was trying to impress the judges. They had to do an Asian dish, and his dish was perfect. But he thought it would be great to please Christine by putting fish sauce in the end. In like his,
That's
remember
right.
that?
And it was
and
it killed him.
It killed it.
Yep.
So that's just like James Gunn putting Scooby-Doo in the DCEU.
Most people who do not watch that show have no idea what we're talking about. But no, that's a good callback to that. I like that. All right, what's next?
Man. All right, Mumra writes, any fond memories of Hollywood video rental stores? No.
I'm not American, so I never had any Hollywood video stores where I grew up. So
I pretty much I was like, well, I already have a Blockbuster.
I worked there.
You did?
Yeah.
How did I not know this?
How do you know? You know what the worst night to work at Hollywood Video? I think it was Wednesday, because that's when all the returns from the weekend came in, because they had a special 5-day rentals, and all the new releases would go out and then Wednesday night. I always had Wednesday night. That manager didn't like me, and I was telling everybody.
Maybe he trusted you the most to handle the big night.
To stay until 4? Okay. By myself?
Gave you the most hours. All right. What's next?
I have a quick question about that, though. Do you guys still do you guys ever catch yourself driving around town and being like, that used to be a Blockbuster?
All the time.
That used to be a
John,
Hollywood Video.
Not, because...
The one I do is, because remember, when I first moved to LA, I thought, because I was stupid, I thought, I'm going to live right in Hollywood and I'm going to live right on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh.
And I got this place that was basically right on Sunset Boulevard, right across the street from a strip club that's featured in the opening credits of Entourage. Because the opening of Entourage is them driving down Sunset Boulevard.
Seventh Veil.
Seventh Veil. That's exactly the place. I was right across the street from it.
Oh, man.
And right up the street from my place on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood was a Blockbuster Video. And in the first year that I lived there, I would often walk up Sunset Boulevard and go to that Blockbuster and get some. So that one Blockbuster, when I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard today, I'll go, there was a Blockbuster Video there.
You know what the great intro to your sitcom would be? You're walking down the street, you look at the strip club, you pass it, and then go straight to the Blockbuster. That would be the intro of the John Campea sitcom or whatever.
All right, I'm gonna tell you a true story.
No.
True story.
Wait. Am I...
You're in this story, yes. But don't worry, you're not the key figure.
Okay.
So, I moved to LA, and my buddy moved out here with me at first. And we just look out our window and we could see there's the Seven Veil strip club. It's like, never been to an American strip club. And I had only recently gone to my first Canadian strip club. I'd only only within the last 2 years that I moved there had I gone to my first strip club ever in my life. And I got spoiled because apparently it's like one of the world's greatest strip clubs. It's called the Sundowner in Niagara Falls. It's considered to be like one of the greatest strip clubs in the world. So it's the first time I had ever gone. So now I'm in the U.S. Like I'd never been to a U.S. strip club. We thought, you know what? Let's walk across the street and go to Seventh Veil. Hell, it's in the opening of Entourage. Okay? All right?
Yeah.
The problem was that going to arguably one of the greatest strip clubs in the world in Niagara Falls, the women there were all incredibly charismatic and friendly and beautiful and like all this kind of stuff. We walked into Seventh Veil and it was like there should have been a sign above the door that said, "Where ye here, this is where dreams go to die." Because it was dark and it was uncomfortable and the people working there had like bruises on their bodies.
Oh man, at your own risk, strip club.
That's the place. That's it right there. Seventh Veil was right across the street from where I lived. And it's like you go into a freaking Sundowner in Niagara Falls. It's like, it feels like a party. Everybody is happy and it's bright and everybody's having a ball. And like literally Like there were strippers that would fly in from all over North America just to work there on the weekends. And it was like a joyous, fun place, right? My
Like
first strip club
Disneyland.
experience there. I walked into that Seventh Veil
Was
place.
it like the rotating door? You guys walked
Oh,
in? And
we were in there for 5 minutes, and then I never went to another American strip club again until you went with me
Yeah.
on my bachelor party.
And that one was a little crazy, I think.
That was a little crazy. We won't go into stories about that night,
that
but
was crazy a little
but
bit.
Seventh Veil, man, right there across the street. All right, what's next?
We've got Jake Clark who writes, hope for Krasinski's Reed, Emily Blunt as Sue, Taron Egerton as Johnny Storm, Joel Edgerton as Ben Grimm, and Liam Neeson as Galactus. That's a big Liam Neeson, man.
It doesn't matter who's Galactus because it's just gonna be their voice.
I don't like Taron as Johnny.
I don't
see
like
him.
Taron Egerton as Johnny Storm either. Yeah,
That's the only one that stood out to me. Everyone else, I think, can maybe pull it off.
Yeah, I think it is safe to say at this point, everybody, we can put I don't think anybody really knows who's going to be the Fantastic Four, but I think it's safe at this point to put the John Krasinski, Emily Blunt thing to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, if we wake up tomorrow and they do announce that, I'll be as happy as anybody, but I think at this point we can put it to bed. I don't think that's happening. All right, what's next?
Okay, I think this is our last one here. Yes. Okay. Stormtrooper Gary writes, rewatching Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Man, Robert Arameo is such a great young Ned Stark and is one of the best things in Rings of Power. Really makes me want a limited series of Robert's Rebellion.
I'm a little iffy on, like, if you're going to do prequel stuff, make it long in the past so you can have your
they
hands
pitched
free
it.
to tell any kind of story you want. Listen, I've been, lately, I don't know why, but I've been getting like clips of Game of Thrones popping up in my YouTube suggested page. And I've been going back and watching, like I just watched, what's the frickin' little asshole kings?
Joffrey.
Joffrey. I just watched the Joffrey dying scene again, getting poisoned and murdered.
Purple Wedding.
That brings a lot of joy to my heart. I mean, oh my God. And I don't care what anybody says about the final season. I don't care. You say whatever you want. But that show is the single most successful, most pop culturally relevant in the Zeitgeist show ever, because everything was about Game of Thrones. It was the highest rated. It won the most Emmys. It did everything, and everybody always talked about it. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
Tons of reaction videos.
Oh, listen, you want to have some fun? Go and find the collection of the
Red Wedding?
compilation, if you will, of people's reactions to the Red Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
It is one of the greatest things on the internet. I could watch that all the time, all day. It is absolutely fabulous and fantastic. So yeah, I mean, but listen, right now with House of the Dragon also being so good, I hear some people complaining. Guess what? I heard a bunch of people grumbling, complaining when they were doing House of the Dragon too. And look how that turned out. I've heard people grumbling, complaining about them doing this Jon Snow show, like a true sequel to Game of Thrones. I am all for it.
Yeah, me too.
Is
I'm
that still down?
100% for it.
Is that still in the works?
Yeah,
It's
I
in the
mean,
works.
nothing's happening right now with the
Of
writer's
course.
strike, but I mean, I am all for it. I can't wait for it, especially after seeing how good House of the Dragon turned out. Anyway, guys, it's now 1 hour on the nose that we've been doing this episode, so it's perfect timing for us to wrap this up. Thank you so much, guys, for being here for Open Mic and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions, either via the tip link or in the live super chat. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about, but number two, you supported this channel as you did, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. So, for Ray Ora, Jonathan Voico, my name's John Campea. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. And until next time, bye-bye.